find quite interesting, right? The lock up bigger players, Rimato, and playing against the newcomer. Literally, like, started playing knockouts 1v1 this league. Like, his first match was one of the league matches, and already is like in Division 1 semis. It's kind of an insane journey for Despin. I am, and this is literally his most difficult match. His most difficult match in his entire life, just because it's Rimato, and Rimato is the consensus of like best lockout player in general. So I don't think it's really possible to have a more difficult matchup when you're Despin. But this is really the time for him to prove himself, and I'm quite excited.
Yeah, it's important to note that Despin's only losses this season have been in draft.
Yeah, I think he played. Coin flip was forgotten about. Now it's been remembered. That's good. Yeah, I think his. Oh yeah, true. Like when you look at Despin's like match history, his losses were against Brian in Brian draft and against Mr. Yato, which was his first game. So you can't really judge it that much. But that's an interesting note, Mason. So we'll have to see if Rimato's able to take advantage of that. I think for this draft, Rimato picks first. And what do you see like right off the bat? What do you think?
So the fast goals are got 3 bosses. Is always good. None of the typical top tier goals, like 11 Delfino, 5 Bird, 3 Reds, 3 Crits. 4 Pianta is good on good Pianta cards. Looks viable here. 9 Serena's not bad, especially with NPC blues on the card. Yeah, those seem to be the top choices to start, especially with 8 on the card. 9 Serena seems like a good pick.
Yeah, I think 3 bosses in general is probably the most potent goal in the very beginning. Rimato elected 15 M's, which is almost the same thing. When blues are strong, it's probably better than 3 bosses. But 3 bosses is just like convenient because it kind of also makes some sort of incentive to go for Serena. Maybe also for Pinner, because 16 Pinner is also a decent goal to get. You'll have like later synergies, like looking at one from each, maybe 4 from 3, maybe boss rematch. That's already like all fine and dandy. So that's been appropriately response for 3 bosses. 5 NPCs I'm not too convinced about, but I think
that just kind of telegraphs that one of your bosses is going to be made. And I feel like Rimato could counter that with 9 Serena blues. I expect him to take that here, even if he doesn't want it. Maybe he carries Despin a bit off it for a while.
Yeah, I think 9 Serena blues is probably similar to like a 5 NPCs draft, except that it's might just be better in general. Rimato responds with the Pinner blues goals, which is a very natural response. I think it's just a good combination.
Yeah, we'll see what Despin has here. I don't really know what he could draft to counter that play. To say, taking the 4 fruit ladies option is like one of the best counters to a Pinna start. So Pinna Blues just kind of gives Rimato more reason to has plenty of value on this card.
The only thing that I like the only reason why I think that Despin should still draft 9 in Serena is that like Pinner isn't the absolute worst thing, and sure you do like 2 slow Serena shines when like Rimato could just draft this goal if it's up and still win to the Pinner goals that he drafted, and late Pinner or like mid or late Pinner is not that important. So Despin appropriately picks 9 in Serena and hundreds in Rico, which is a choice. I am not 100% sure how to feel about it.
Yeah, what that tells me is he kind of feels that Rimato is not going to challenge his draft because 18 Serena is a strong goal. To have boss rematch, both as kind of counters to the 3 bosses and 9 Serena blues. But I don't think with what Rimato's shown, I think Despin is pretty safe to assume that that won't be the case. That even if Rimato does draft, that's not going to be high in his priority list. I think we'll see Rimato draft 50 fills, but I'm not sure.
50 total seems kind of reasonable, but like I just think that if you have 15 M's, if you have 16 in Pinner already drafted, I think your opponent is a bit hesitant to go for blues when the only ones left are like 50 in totals, 65 totals. So Rimato just opts for like a play that looks like Rico at the very least, right? With Turbo Nozzle boss rematch.
Yeah, that looks like a really strong play from Rimato because Rimato should be able to get all those goals, still get to like Rimato could reasonably get all his draft goals, and if that's the case, he also gets Rico, Shadow Mario, ahead in Pinna most likely. So.
Yeah. The kind of interesting thing is like Rico doesn't have the value of like mid Rico goals, right? It's just Shadow Mario boss rematch and Turbo Nozzle, which is like episode 5 onwards. I guess you have blues. I guess you would have hundreds in Rico, but that's something that's been already drafted, so that's weird. And enemies is like also just a Bianco goal, at least partially, right? So it's interesting.
Yeah, the one downside is if Rimato does this boss rematch Turbo and Rico play, and he does have a pretty straightforward route. Perhaps Despin could play around. I don't know what all Despin. If Despin's planning on Rico 400, that could still be good, even if he doesn't get boss rematch or Turbo, because that could set him up for enemies. And 4 from 3, even if he doesn't go all the way for the deep Rico goals, he can still get plenty of value out of Rico.
I'm trying to think. I just feel like there's maybe like not enough reason to go to Rico, in my opinion at least. You can, when you're Despin, consider maybe something like you might secure 9 in Serena and then like get maybe Rico 1 as a boss. Then consider the Delfino shines or Piata shines to maybe go to Pinna as well. That seems like... No, actually that doesn't seem that strong.
Pinna doesn't seem particularly strong for Despin's draft.
Yeah,
I think the Pinna Blues, especially Rimato, going to be able to finish Pinna Blues with Beach Blues initially. That makes that really strong early Pinna value. Doing Pinna 2, it's not much more to get what you unlock except for Bells, Shadow Mario.
I just see also some synergies of like Delfino Shines for Noki Eel and maybe Delfino Rocket later on, and maybe you can argue one from each. And I just feel like that this has some value, right? And it's weird to think about like when would this be appropriate to go for, and I think Despin probably has more incentive to go for like this Delfino Shines play than Rimato has with this draft, because Despin's goals are kind of like hundreds and Rika, hundreds and secrets is like really not that fast. Three bosses is also not that great either. I mean, Serena is not that great either. And also the 5 NPCs is awkward, so maybe Despin has to kind of work around this and maybe like give up 4 from 3 early, maybe give up some of the other goals kind of early to work around Rimato's kind of straightforward stuff.
Yeah, Despin drafted 0 fast goals, so it's gonna come down to whether or not he thinks he can, in his draft goals, play the slow game, maybe steal a few Rimato's draft, or if worth it to ignore his draft goals, or ignore rushing his draft goals and focus on being ahead in Shines or Penna or Noki.
The a little bit of an issue is that like Penna Shines aren't that particularly fast either, right? And then it's a question about like how worth it is like both bells in Penna Shadow Mario. It's like 2 goals, and is it really like important for you to get this? But then, as mentioned, if you like forfeit 4 from 3 in your mind and 7 enemies and etc., then it's like, yeah, you kind of need those, and then suddenly you might not win to Noki after all. So it's just a pretty awkward situation, and just based on that, I would think that Rimato just has like easy to play out draft, and also just very, very potent anyway. So it's tough. Maybe Despin can find something unique, and Rimato won't be prepared.
Yeah, I definitely would have preferred if Despin drafted Boss Rematch instead of Repo 100.
Yeah.
Especially after you see Rimato's pin. Seems like, well, you really don't expect Rimato to grab so early on.
I would definitely agree. Like, Rico 100s is... I guess you can make the argument that, like, without Rico 100's draft, Rimato could just go for, like, 1 shine in Rico, that being the 100s, and then kind of dip, because you get the M's, and then you don't need to do too much more if you're Rimato. Outside of that, like, 4 from 3 will be fine, but Rimato is like also kind of awkward. Like, Rimato's draft is also a little bit awkward with that goal, because like his draft just only seems like Rico, and pretty deep Rico at that, plus Penna. Piata just kind of doesn't fit in, although Piata has decent value. Actually,
yeah, I could see the Pianta 1 with M's, just if Rimato really wants to go spend a lot of time in Rico, they'll make it to Penna. We'll see them. Out to get going on these starts.
Yeah, I honestly didn't really consider like just starting 4 from Piata for both of them. Like, it's a neutral goal. Pipes is on the
6
card.
pipes on the card. It's not
like 8 NPCs, possibly, like as an option, just especially for Despin to counter like the deep Rico play.
Yes, definitely. That is an option for sure. I would not be surprised by a Pianta Soccer either.
Yeah. And Rimato. Yeah, Rimato's like Yep. This is a Pianta start sounds good for Despin. I will just, you know, take that.
Now, the question is, does he want no reason to do hundreds? So is it gonna be one with M's with exit area?
There's no way it's M's with exit area. This is like not necessary for draft, especially because Pianta shines are fine.
Yes, and he ignores the M at the back. So that tells me he may be doing onto 2 as well. He may be rushing from Pianta.
Yeah, I think 4 from Pianta is like if you're in Pianta in the first place.
Arena types play as well.
Yeah, just both players have like the incentive to go into Pianta to counter something from the opponent's draft. So yeah, that's just a possible start, and I think Despin is literally just starting with Serena, which is definitely a choice. I don't know how much of a like how good of a decision it is, and it's definitely awkward because he like the only thing at risk would be like 6 pipes, but like once you get 6 pipes, you can't collect the blue coins, so you want to get like 9 and 18 Serena on the way anyway, and then suddenly it's like, yeah, you just reveal that you just started with Serena. How weird is that?
Yeah. Probably don't want to see him do Serena 2 right away. He won't win the pipes if Rimato really rushes it anyways.
You can also argue that yeah, because Despin would have to collect the blue coins at some point, Rimato will kind of know when to go back. Maybe not if Despin does it with 18 Serena, but Rimato will still have some sort of info. Or like, I mean, Despin could also just get 9 Serena blue coins in episode 4 because it's still drafted and this is draft still. And
yeah, if he were to do beach pipe beforehand, that would, I think, a decent play, especially if Rimato finishes 4 from Pianta and clicks it off right away. Despin could play the triple click of 9 through 18 pipes all in shine.
Yep. Despin going for the ocean blue, which is not that great to get if you want 18 only. Maybe Despin wants 9 Serena blues early for whatever reason, maybe to scare him out of pipes or Serena himself or anything of that sort. Outside of that, it's just kind of a slow blue to get, while Rimato is just like really rushing Pianta shines, and I think he got some M's. I would assume the M behind him at the very start, and like 2 during the, or like 3 during the Piantissimo race.
I used 4 blues. I think he got the M under Flood in Pianta 3, and then got 3 in Pianta 2.
Oh.
Don't believe he grabbed any other blues.
Which 3 did he get? Like you can get 4 blues in Pianta Piantissimo in the Piantissimo race.
I don't know if he ever grabbed the M behind him. Tells me he's really worried about Despin rushing the. I think he'll click it right away. What I'd like to see from Despin is maybe a deep Rico play. Maybe this. So I can just.
Yep. Rimato clicking off 4 from Pianta, just assuming it's a race, because that's not unreasonable for him to think.
Yeah. I think this tells Despin he could probably just go to Rico. Because I think Rimato can't go as far into Rico as his draft implied, and still get to Pinna when he wants. Maybe it can. Auto is fast.
I think for boss rematch, yes. For like Rico Shadow Mario and everything, that's probably a no.
Really hope Despin does not grab the 9th blue.
No way he will. Especially after seeing the 4 from Pianta click. Despin knows how safe this is. Also, he's actually just going for the 9th screen blues early. Kind of interesting. You can argue that maybe he wants to force Rimato to go back into Pianta to secure 6 pipes and just like scare Rimato with that. Because 8 NPCs or Ricochet Mario is like already favored for Rimato just from the drafts. So Despin kind of like forces Rimato back into a level for like only 1 goal maybe. And that's like his intention, and then but that just assumes that Despin should leave after Serena or after Serena 2.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to make Rimato think he's leaving. Why would you stay after you've already gotten 9 Serena blues? So going to stay, you would probably get them later.
Yeah, but that's also just kind of mind games.
that would be in the next level of mind game.
Yeah, it's.
And Rimato does see it going back to their pipes. Despin has Rico available. A lot. I think we will see a deep Rico play out of Despin. I don't know if we'll see the 100 secret during the draft period. I really think it's pretty safe. Something like 100, you know, Rimato's probably not going to start it when he it. And just the best way to use that information is you can start the 100 right at 30 minutes to win it.
I think just the Rika 100s in general is not that great, not that safe of a play early. It's just, as mentioned, a lot of time spent early for like 2 goals. Like, cool.
Although not getting the Pianta 5 IL he wanted.
It's not a 26 Shanget time, unfortunately for him. As Rimato, do you do Pianta 6? Or do you do Beach Pipe to secure pipes? I can see the rationale behind both, personally.
I think you do Pianta 6 because you can delay 8 NPCs incredibly. You've got 5 NPCs is something Despin would have to click. I guess Despin could go through Rico and not reveal that information. He has to click 3 bosses, so he at the very least can hide it behind 3 bosses. So, yeah, and Rimato will grab the NPCs here.
Yeah.
Nothing is drafted that Rimato is grabbing here, so he can delay it if he wants. Otto not planning on grabbing the shine?
Maybe wants to secure 8 NPCs first, which is like, as you mentioned, with 5 NPCs being something that's been has drafted, so like you just have a little bit of a window anyway. So
I think Otto's planning on leaving. Oh, why else do you do it this way?
It's just weird because like you already unlocked most of the Piantas anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem much faster than doing exiting area and doing beach type. Maybe he wants a Delfino shine as part of his 6.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It just looks more odd than it really is.
So early in the game, yeah, it is something you don't expect. Despin just trucking along through Rico. Hey. Imagine he'll do Rico 3 after this, and it comes down to a decision of where he wants to go after that.
Yeah, so Rimato just ended up like finishing out the shine anyway. Okay, that's just odd. Funnily enough, if he just went for like the 120 strats and like got all the blues you would also get in 120, he would have probably saved time maybe. He clicks off both immediately, which is definitely an interesting decision. Once like maybe he didn't think about like what you were able to think of, like both goals or like both possibilities of that goal will be locked behind Despin having to click one of his draft goals, so you kind of have enough time.
I like Despin unlocking Gelato here with time. This will open fire Pianta. Is a very crucial NPC for 5 NPCs, especially if he's ignoring Bianco.
Mm-hmm.
Rimato gonna enter Gelato.
I don't think there's reason to enter Gelato, so I just assume he wouldn't. Yeah, and he looks away from the spot, so he wants to go somewhere else. And the question kind of is like, where does he want to go?
Enough.
Yeah.
I don't really know where else. I guess he would, I think, still win. He would get boss rematch. I don't know how long things take.
I mean, he definitely has enough time for boss rematch, and one Turbo Nozzle and Rico at that. I think at least. Wait. I would have to maybe see when he enters Rico for that, but yeah, he technically has enough shine for boss rematch, time for boss rematch, but he also still has to like, or he should get to Pinastore and or do all the things there. So it's kind of
leaving after Rico through trading in blue.
Yeah, definitely kind of odd. Right off the bat, I am not 100% sure like what Despin is after right now. Probably just like setting up like 100 and Rico 4th and 3, setting up maybe getting boss rematch, setting up like in general. Because he kind of has to with his draft.
The real question is, what does Rimato do? Yeah, Rimato can't get both his Rico goals and Tina goals. So if Despin calls him out on the right one, Despin's fine, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm. How many M's does Rimato have? Did you like pay attention by any chance?
I didn't see if he got the back end, but he had about 6 or 7 in. It feels like he's gonna finish them in Pinna.
Yeah.
Maybe Despin goes into Pinna and just ignores Blue.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Like, skipping the beach boost is maybe a bit weird to do, but like you can also just get 16 pinner in episode 3 or episode 5 even if you really want it.
Well, another safer way to get the Beach Blues would be to get them with Yoshi. Too. That could allow, obviously, if Rimato gets it in the draft period, he still gets it. But then you only have to get 3 of the basket.
That's a good point.
When Despin clicks off 3 bosses, what does Rimato read it as? Read it as Rico 5 or does he read it as Pinna 1?
There are many options. I would like Rimato can also still think it's PD just because it's also like 7 enemies proc as well as 1 turbo, and PD is just like also an okay thing to go for, like also 5 NPCs. Like there's enough reason, so Rimato just kind of has to pick between like PD and PD Rico 5 and Pinna 1. And I don't think any of them are necessarily more probable than the other.
Yeah. There's the 3 bosses click. 5.5 minutes left of the draft period, and Despin will probably not get any of his other draft goals in the draft period. Oh no, he's going back to Rico. Okay.
Yeah, they're basically tied with the Rico Shines. So it's kind of interesting. Like, will Rimato leave, or what will Despin do? Will he do Rico 4 or Rico 100s? I personally hope it would be Rico 4, but he's doing the 100s right now, which, in my opinion, is maybe a bit too early, and in your opinion, probably as well.
Yeah. We'll see if I don't think it changes anything Rimato does. Rimato finishes his Beach Blues, and maybe then he heads for boss rematch and Rico value. So if Despin continues in Rico after the 100s, then I think it'll work out for him. Otherwise, if he loses Pinna stuff and Rico stuff and Pianta stuff, I think we can start looking ahead to games.
Yeah, it just mostly depends on what Rimato chooses to do, but like I just think that like any option Rimato has, that being Rico or Pinna, will not be that terrible for Rimato, assuming he, like after Pinna 1, he like commits to one of those plays.
Yeah, I think Rimato's going to be in the winning position for a while. I think pretty big would have to change. But Despin needs to take big value out of one of the worlds.
Yeah. I would definitely agree in that.
And probably Noki too. See, this play does not bode well for that.
I think Despin is how many like Rimato is at how many shines? 14 after trades. You can check really quick. Yeah, 10 plus almost 4. While Despin is at 12. So it's not that great either. And both of them have their Pheno Shines open, and I guess Despin has already got 3 Pheno Shines, right? So Rimato can... Rimato has more faster shines available, so he can get to Noki a bit easier.
I think that's because you beat.
What did you say, Mason?
Yeah, sorry, I was. Yeah, but yes, he does.
Yeah. In draft, you can easily afford to do this. You have to get the blues anyway, so doesn't hurt. Despin seems to be getting the enemies along with, and a few extra blues along with the Rico hundreds. He misses and falls down.
And this will give Otto so much improvement.
Yeah. And Despin...
Unless Despin dies in the season and Rimato doesn't get in.
Yeah, but then Despin like just loses a ton of time.
This is the platform.
Yeah. Successfully doesn't die.
I'll look off Rimato's goals. Want to do Despin's 1 goal?
Yeah, that's probably possible for me to do. Yeah, Rimato put more or less put 16 in Pinna and Beach Blues at risk, but Despin not in time to punish either of these.
Oh, and if Rimato leaves after Beach Blues or after Pinna 2, he's still ahead. He would become ahead in Rico. Oh, after Despin.
Yeah. Pretty unfortunate timing for Despin here. Now he was like, oh, I could have got this goal if I just did this instead of Rico hundreds. But now Rimato will be very happy and with a pretty comfortable lead in basically everything.
There's the double click.
Yeah, in the wrong color.
The blue at first. How does Despin read?
Yeah, I guess now this is just a very awkward position for Despin. Maybe he'll just try to race to the pinner shines, but he might think that he's at the back foot, which he is. So yeah, this is just an awkward spot. I think Despin just has to hope that he doesn't follow Rimato after pinner 2.
Yeah, if somehow they both go to Rico and Despin pulls ahead in Rico, maybe Rimato stops for the enemies. Rimato is very close to 50 totals. So,
yeah, also Rimato has 5
back
NPCs.
Despin can get the value if you want. But the bells, he's also 4 from 3 and Delfino progress. Rimato is very close to 4 from 3 too.
Yeah, he just needs one more shine in Rico after the pinner stuff. So like 3 more shines, and Rimato realizes that 5 NPCs was on the board, and now he's off cycle and pinner free, which is very funny. He'll just have to do the old strats.
Hey, my strats. So.
Yeah, the obsolete 2013 to 2015 strats, I think, or 16, something. While Despin goes for task, pinner free, and pulls ahead. Almost pulls ahead, I mean. Unfortunately, he doesn't clip through the gate, so instead he'll have to work his way up, and again, Rimato's a tiny bit ahead. None of these players have
caught up a bit there.
Yeah, but like on the other hand, none of these players got like a bell shine, like left bell already, so right bell doesn't function that well. So maybe it's coming down to like, are they doing lighthouse instead of both bells just for that goal? But at the same time, both bells just works better for 8 Delfino shines. So Despin kind of, like, if Despin wants lighthouse or both bells, he kind of has to believe in his Delfino shines lead and just do lighthouse instead.
Yeah, that's a big call to make too.
Yeah, it's kind of just for one goal, but Despin is far behind in goals, and at that point you kind of have to grasp for like every single opportunity and like every single edge that you can find.
And both with solid pin force.
Mm-hmm. Both 1 cycles.
I could see Rimato going for Lighthouse more than I could Despin. I think Rimato understands now that 3 bosses probably Mecha. Based on the lack of boss rematch click.
Or Despin is safe warping instead, so Rimato might be securing 4 from 3 instead? Yeah, interesting. So
getting the Rico lead.
Yeah, so now this would be better for Despin to get both bells, but he doesn't know that. I think Rimato's... You can also just argue that Rimato is just covering all the options, like he has both bells or pinner, and now if he goes for like enemies in boss rematch, that would just also work as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Rimato will lose Lighthouse Bell's goal. But this is 4 from 3 and bosses. So really still better for Rimato.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of 2 free goals, and I guess Tobonaza is also very difficult for Despin, so... Despin had like an insane break of the lighthouse thing, but now he's like managing to spin jump when like holding down left, and now striking a ton with the shine grab. Finally got it. Congratulations, Despin.
Otto finishes 50 totals. Enters 4 from 3. Despin following him.
Oh no, that's really tragic for Despin.
So, what's the format for game 2?
Oh,
Ramato's not. He's not ready to think about game 2 yet.
Yeah, but he's still ahead. Fortunately for Rimato. But you know, 1 life, it's scary. He's grabbing. He tried to grab an extra life. He's going back. Now this is really awkward. Being off cycle in Rico 4 is one of the worst things imaginable. Oh, okay.
That was close.
Yeah, didn't get the spin jump and didn't get punished. So that was quite exciting.
Yeah, that would have changed things. And it's not the most unreasonable thing if Rimato, if he's playing that nervous, he could fall down in Rico 5 and that cost him boss room. He is delaying 4 from 3. Okay, there.
Yeah, I think Rimato had like a heart attack with that like drop spin jump at the end and just like completely forgot about 4 from 3. I would too, honestly. But
Right,
Rimato's
Rimato
been...
has clean movement too.
Yeah, Rimato's IL grind kind of showing off what he's capable of. I think he has second or third place in Rico 5 in that IL. I don't know, I don't remember which one exactly.
Rimato delays as much as he delayed 4 from 3, he loses the goal.
But he can't, he has to
Oh yeah,
keep
he
this
can't
pace.
delay it.
Yeah, it's literally impossible for him. Do you think that Rimato will continue staying in Rico just for Turbo Nozzle? I guess there's no way. Like, yeah. Rimato's leaving. Despin is, I feel it's kind of stupid. Probably just wants to take that away and then pray for the best.
Yeah, what can Despin is tied for Pinashadow Mario, up in Delfino Shine, up in 1 from each by having done Serena. So grab the green with purple, please. He does need the Noki stuff. Rimato can win with heal for Noki and just something else. So I see Rimato may want 1 from each, or Rimato doing Delfino Shines, Delfino Rocket, 65 totals.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I think also 1 from each is kind of really weird. Just because, like, you at this point, you can probably assume that Despin doesn't have Biancos, and you have, like, Pianta, and that's kind of not valuable for Despin. We don't really know what Despin has done, except for, I guess, Lighthouse, so Pinna and Rico Hundreds in a secret. And I guess Serena, and it's just kind of awkward.
Despin kind of has to take 65 totals to have a chance.
Yeah, and Despin is like only at how many? 25?
25.
Yeah, that's a bit rough for Despin there.
I guess Despin could win 8 Delfinos. Then win Noki stuff.
Maybe a little like nitpicky thing.
Rimato doing Pinashadow Mario.
Yeah, he knows that he's basically tied with Despin. Maybe Despin is ahead. But like Rimato just has that many options, like that many things to do. It's
just kind of what's Despin gonna take? He can take 8 Delfino, he can take Delfino Rocket, or he can. Rimato's kind of saying you can't take all of them.
Yeah, and at the same time, like, you don't know what Despin's progress, and there's like even a good chance that like Despin's setup is good enough where there's nothing really safe in your mind. And in that case, like, you just kind of have to do everything just in case, like, yeah, at that point, like the odds of me getting sniped all like over and over again are low enough where I don't think I will like well Rimato doesn't lose. Also, Despin is going for the secret here, which I don't think has any value over the Gelato hidden, except I guess the it's closer when you get the Catacrack, but then I don't know.
Yeah, I think the definitely thought process was it's closer to the Cataclack.
Yeah.
There is no hidden. There's no reason to. All the goals to the left are pretty straightforward. Despin probably gonna just rush Eel here. Maybe he could rush or from Noki and leave Eel as hostage. That might be. Rimato's secrets are questionable today.
Yeah. I know that like in his what was it, 48 progress, he had some of the secrets like separate. So like, I swim to full level and swim to secret and like practice them both and eye out them both separately. And I guess maybe he has some of these shines. There's still some work to do for him, and he has to go back to like only 42 out of 48 maybe.
So no point to delay this from Rimato. At this point, the only thing that can really cost you is over delays.
Yeah.
You can pretty much safely get everything else. Auto grabbing the enemy. Wonder if Despin could finish. If Rimato goes for enemies in Bianco and Despin grabs the boot enemy, that might be Rimato's lose time.
Rimato's lose count though is a bit difficult. I think both of them, like Despin is at 4 Delfino shines, and Rimato is I think at like 3 or maybe even 4 after, or like at 3 or 4, and an additional one after this one.
Despin had 4. Did he not do Chuckster? He did Lighthouse.
He did Lighthouse, Beach Shine, Underbell, and he did Chuckster.
Yeah, so he's at 4. Rimato's still gonna pass that. Always get turbo available.
Rimato's is getting gold belt.
Is that one of the 8 fastest have turbo?
With turbo, it's decently fast. It's like below 50 seconds. Maybe if Rimato still had like Underbell as an option, I think that would have been better to get after unlocking the turbo nozzle and then from default Plaza do gold belt, but that's not too far away. Or not too much of a difference.
So Despin's clearly worried about the Noki Eel double click victory. Rimato also has the 8 Delfino Rocket double click victory ahead of him. and he's miles ahead to 65 total.
Yeah.
So, unless Despin had left, won 8 Delfinos and 65 totals, I don't. And this play is very safe from Rimato, very strong close, I think.
Yeah. I think this was probably the first game where Despin actually got destroyed, kind of. I feel like he's always been competitive or has won his games, and now this time it's like, yeah, Rimato has the lead to like he needs 2 more goals and he has the lead to like 4 or 5 of them. So that's a bit discouraging. And like has a huge advantage as well in some of them. Like Rimato has Bs open, so he would only need these 2 for 7 enemies. He is at 29 shines for Delfino Rocket, or has been doing Delfino shines. And 25 boosts ahead, that's a substantial advantage.
Yeah. I think just very well played by Rimato. There was a ton of value in Fanta, Rico, and Pinna.
And he won basically all of them.
Almost all of it.
Yeah.
Got 3 of the 4 Pinna goals. Got he only got 1 Rico goal, but he also used Pianta to steal value from the Rico goal and got 4 from 3 with those 3 worlds. So.
Yeah. Rimato hopefully showing off either Shine Gate or Lighthouse with this rocket.
That's the fastest movement to Delfino Rocket. That's always my struggle is getting to. Oh, you could have avoided talking to him, bro.
But yeah, this is going to be the last shine for Rimato. 13 to 8.
GG's.
GG.
13-8 with the delays.
Kind of a yeah, not the closest of the games, but Despin doesn't want to interview, understandably so. Maybe Rimato wants to. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a lockout coming up in 15 minutes. Understandable if they want to not rehash this match, especially Despin. So I don't know if Rimato will also just want to take a break.
Yep. Playing in 15, like if you play in 15 minutes, you typically don't want to like talk for like 10 minutes.
Rimato
and be like,
says he'll do an interview after game 2.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, kind of a tough match for Despin. I mean, I think that's like the only conclusion we can really take from this.
Otto says that he panicked after the turbo and that close was 0 IQ. Which I disagree with. But also, he could have done one with anything.
Yeah, maybe there would have been better closes, but I think all of them would have worked, so it's kind of tough to say.
Yeah, enemy Bs would have been a really nice steal. But yeah, I mean, when you're up by that much, use your opponent more than you yourself.
Yeah, we don't have too much more to say. I feel like we want the runners to have the break so they can have a better showing for game 2. Thank you, Mason, for commentating with me.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Glad I finally got to commentate a match.
Yeah. Glad to hear you commentate again. Yeah. Schmidt, our restreamer, who did a good job, please take us away.